Alrighty, we are at 181, and we got to get to 248 today. Let's see. La'aruf es ha'egla k'mitzvos aseh, to decapitate the calf according to its mitzvah. Shnemar v'arfu sham es ha'egla banacha. You shall decapitate the calf at the river. So this is for the egla arufa on the dead body that's found outside of the city. 182. Lahachin shesh are miklat, to prepare 6 cities of refuge. Shnemar tachin lacha haderech. You should prepare for yourself the way. V'shilashta es gvul artzecha, and you should. Is there a one-word English translation for shilashta? Triplicate? That doesn't really work there. Shilashta es gvul artzecha, the boundary of your land. I just want to see in the Sefer Mitzvos. I believe, isn't this one where like it's not going to be finished? Wait, no. What am I thinking of? Hold on. No, he doesn't say here. Never mind. Okay. Next. Oops, sorry. What am I doing? I didn't mean to skip the Los Asehs. That was not a Freudian slip. That was just I thought that was on the mode where where you click left and it goes to the next one. Where were we? 182. Whatever. 183. Laseis lelevim arim lasheves, to give the Levim cities to settle in. V'gam hein koltos, and they also are cities of refuge. Shnemar v'nasu lelevim arim. You should give to the Levim cities. See, so this is something I didn't really know, or I didn't think about. I knew that there were 6 cities of refuge because I know that Moshe did 3, but I kind of like viewed cities of refuge and the cities for Levim as like the same thing. And I guess functionally they are, but apparently there's a separate Mitzvos Aseh to set aside cities for the Levim.
Well, I think there are more.
Yeah, right. There's tons of them. I think in my mind, I thought that the 6 was like a minimum level or something like that. And then like there are these Levim ones. I just want to see what he says in the Sefer Mitzvos here. He should defend Levim. Arim lasheves ki ein lahem chelek v'nachla ba'aretz v'hu amar yisbarach v'nasnu levim arim lasheves v'elu ari halevim heim ari miklat hakoltos al Torah miyuchad b'mesechos makos. So when he says al Torah miyuchad, I don't know if that means that they function differently than the regular ari miklat or not. But yeah, there are a bunch of them. Right? There's like dozens.
Wait, so we're saying that the ari levim could be ari miklat, but you only need to have 6 ari miklat?
No, it sounds like there's. I mean, I don't think so. It sounds like ari miklat. So let's look into this. And look, it's even in 2 different sections here. So you've got, hold on, I'm just gonna move the zoom thing down again. So you've got Hilchot Rutzei Shmiras HaNefesh, Mitzvos Aseh L'Hafrish Arim Miklat Shnemar Shalosh Arim Tavdil Lach, Ve'ein Arim Miklat No Hagos El Be'eretz Yisrael, V'Sheish Arim Hayu, Shalosh Hivdil Moshe Rabbeinu Be'ever HaYarden, V'Shalosh Hivdil Yoshua Be'eretz Canaan. So Moshe did 3, and then Yoshua did 3. In achas me'arhem miklat koletes ad yuvdulu kulan. Neither one of them provides refuge until all of them have been set aside. Shnemar sheish arim miklat tihen alachem. There should be 6 for you, meaning I guess they only halachically get their chaloshem when you got 6. V'hodianu Moshe Rabbeinu she'en shalosh shebe'ever hayarden koltos ad yuvdulu shalosh shebe'eretz Canaan. That's the famous example where Moshe did half a mitzvah. Right? Why did he do them if they didn't actually function until they were 6? Because once the mitzvah came to his hand, he would fulfill it. See, yeah, that's what I thought also. I thought there was some Mashiach thing here. That's what I started to say, but I didn't know what I was going to say though, because I didn't know the facts. In the times of Mashiach, 3 will be added to these 6. 3 will be added onto these 6. Sorry, onto these 3. That's interesting. So I guess it's onto the 3 that Yeshua added. Heichan mosifin osan ba'ari hakeni v'haknizi v'hakanmoni shnichras la'Avram Avinu bris alehem v'adayin lo nichbashu v'alem nemar b'Torah v'im yarchi v'Hashem elakacha es gvulcha. So this is, I think, one of the rayas that the Rambam brings for Mashiach, or the Ramazim in the Torah, that the Torah says that when God expands your boundaries, then you'll add these 3, but that hasn't happened yet. So it's an allusion to Moshe Mashiach. Okay, so let's assume that that's all we need for now, and then let's just look at the Levim thing. Yeah, so Shevet Levi, Afal pi she'ein lahem chelek ba'aretz kvar nitztav Yisrael litin lahem arim lasheves umigreshehem. So even though the Leviim don't have a portion in the land, then Israel has been commanded to give them cities to dwell in. Umigrashem. What does Umigrashem mean? I don't know what the lashon of Gershon is, and I don't know what that is.
Sent away. They will be sent away.
Yeah, is that? It can't be a reference to the people who get sent into the cities, is there? I gotta look it up. I know it's a lashon of the pasuk. I just don't. What is up with this? Used to just be you could click on the Mishneh Torah. Oh, it used to be you could click on the Mishneh Torah, it would take you here.
Wait, all of Torah doesn't have English?
It doesn't have English, I guess, for all of them yet. Wait, where are we looking at? Shemitah and Yovel, right? So at the end of Zrayim. And chapter 13, no, I don't want to get email. And residential property. That's what Migrasheim is. It says, our translation follows the Rambam's commentary on the Mishnah, which defines the term migrash as the settlements close to the city, which we refer to as outlying districts where shepherds and workers dwell. I guess we're not the only ones who didn't know what migrashem means. I guess it's a term of contention. Okay. The arim heim sheish arim miklat, the aleim shtaim v'arbaim ir. Okay, so I guess it does include those arim miklat, but it's basically giving them additional ones, 42 additional ones. And then all those additional ones will go to the Leviim. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. So they do, I guess. Oh, sorry. He said that they were collate in different ways. I mean, I guess this is really getting to the halachos now, though, because he doesn't really allude to that in the I mean, he alludes to it, but he doesn't spell it out in the Sefer Mitzvos. So this is a Bekius share, so we're not going to go into the halachos. Okay. Kufei Gimel. Okay. All right. So was there unity here? I guess these have to do with murder, right? Or with I mean, they're loosely affiliated with murder, right? They're Mitzvos Aseh affiliated with murder because you got the dead body, which is not murder. I guess that's a well, we don't know how the guy died. And then the Ari Miklat for manslaughter, and then the Leviim. So he didn't classify the Leviim thing with with Mikdash or with other stuff having to do with Leviim. So just to note that there. And nor did he list them in Shemitah and Yovel. And it's very interesting here that the Rambam puts this in Shemitah and Yovel here, which I think is in the context of, Bate Arechoma. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the classification scheme is here. Okay. Then it looks like we get to another thing that has to do with Shmiras Nefesh, Lasos Ma'akesh, Nemar V'asisa Ma'ake Lagagacha, to make a parapet, right, or a fence. You should make a parapet for your roof.
I think
yeah.
I think Ma'ake is like, I think it's talked about in Chazal that not doing Ma'ake is like killing someone.
Right.
So
yeah, right. Well, it says in the pasuk, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Says. Hold on. Taking forever.
Is it possible that this section is like coming off of Adam? Like Adam Zomim is like kind of the line between Adam and this category? Because we're
how so?
Like because Adam Zomim are like trying to kill other people.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's. I guess I didn't spell what I meant when I said that the Adam Zomim is having to do with dead bodies, because that's the even though it's not exact, it's not like they're always trying to kill people, right? But yeah, that's the typical case. And I'm assuming that also because it's at the end of the Adam, at the end of the Adam section and the beginning of the Shmiras Nefesh section. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so Devarim, it says ki sivne bais chadash v'asisa ma'ake l'gachav lo sasim damim bevisecha ki yipol hanofel mimeno. I think that's where the Chazal is that Isaac was referring to. And make a ma'ake and do not make blood in your house. All right, 185. La'abid avodah zara v'chol masham sheha, to destroy avodah zara and all of its accoutrements. How do they say it? Appurtenances. All right, I don't know what the difference between appurtenance and other thing is. Never abeta abdunas kol makomos. You should destroy all the places. So this is another interesting thing because in at least in Sefer Hamada, then this is, Hilchos Avodah Zarah is in Sefer Hamada, whereas a lot of the mitzvahs we've been referring to here are very distant from Sefer Hamada, much more in terms of like land of Israel, Sanhedrin, Shoftim system world. So this is another example of like a clean break where I'm not seeing any connection between this and the Ma'akeh, except for like Al Derech Drush, and also it's interesting because you could have made the argument. I guess there aren't that many mitzvos aseh that have to do with Avodah Zarah. In fact, I think there's only two of them. This one and the next one. Laharog anshe ir hanidachas v'lisrof es ha'ir shnemar v'sarafta v'eish es ha'ir. Or are there three of them? No, I think there's two of them. To kill the people of the Ir Hanidachas and to burn the city. Shnemar v'sarafta v'eish es ha'ir. You shall burn the city. So I was going to say, I guess conceivably, even though some might look at that as weird, he could have put this up at the very, very, very top of the list with the mitzvos of Yisodei HaTorah. And if you say, well, that's weird, well, God does it. I mean, he doesn't put these exact mitzvos there, but in the Aseret Dibros, you have Anochi and Lo Yeh Lecha with the making an idol and bowing down to it and stuff all up there. So it's just interesting that this is all the way down here.
Also, he has it in Mata like that, like you said.
Yeah, right. You could say though that this is going off of the D'Oraisa because isn't it only a mitzvah to destroy Avodah Zarah in Eretz Yisrael?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then same thing with Ir Hanidachas. Well, actually, Ir Hanidachas is Ir Hanidachas only in Eretz Yisrael? I admit I'm not holding in Ir Hanidachas right now.
I don't know, but it sounds reasonable to me.
Let's see. Because if so, then you could say it's grouped in that society or the societal mitzvos. He doesn't say here. Oh, sorry. That's doesn't seem to be limited to Eretz Yisrael. Okay, fine. But I mean, all we needed was the bridge. Like maybe that was the bridge. Still a looser bridge than is obvious. It's not either. It's not a bridge or it's not an obvious bridge. Okay. Kuf Pei Zayin. See, so this one's also about Eretz Yisrael ish. La'abid Shiva Amim in Eretz Yisrael. Shnemar. Well, it says Eretz Yisrael. Shnemar Hachrim Takrim. So eradicating the 7 nations from the land of Israel. As it says, you should utterly annihilate them. And then Lahachri Zar Shal Amalek, to cut off the offspring of Amalek. I never really knew why there are different verbs used for Amalek and Shiva Amim. Hacharim, and then like Timche. I mean, here he says Lahachris, which is also interesting. Timche Zechar Amalek. Yeah. Blot out, they say. Okay. Lizkor Masha Asalan Amalek. Shas Amalek Tami, to remember what Amalek did constantly. Shnemar Zachor Es Asher Asalacha Amalek. Yeah, so this I think if I ask you like how we're Mekayim the mitzvah of Zechiras Amalek, like what do you say?
I would read Parshas Zachor.
Right. So I believe, and I've never looked into this, but I'm under the impression that that's a machlokes, that obviously we paskin like that, but the way that the Rambam formulates it, first of all, when he says tamid, so like on the surface that doesn't align with our understanding that we read Zachor once a year. Now maybe you can define tamid as once a year, but let's just see in the Sefer Mitzvos how he says it. He should be on Lizkor Masha Asalano Amalek V'Hagdima Lahera Lano. So we're commanded to remember what Amalek did to us when he preempted us for evil. V'lisno oso b'chol eis ve'eis, and to hate him at all times. Una orer hanafashos b'ma'amarim lihilachim bo, and to awaken, to motivate people to go to war with him with statements. V'nizares ha'am lisno oso, and to arouse the nation to hate him. Ad shelo tishkach mitzvah, so that we don't, in order to not forget the mitzvah, meaning the mitzvah of wiping him out. V'lo techalish sinaso, and to not weaken the hatred. V'techsar mehanafashos im orach hazman, and that the and that it should not, in other words, not let it diminish from our souls with the length of time. So you might think that when it says Zachor, then that's Zechira Belev. But then when it says Al Tishkach, then that's Shichachas Halev. So what does it mean? Hama ani makayim Zachor. So what does it Zachor mean? Shetei sinaso beficha. That his hatred should be in your mouth. So it, I So when Shaul was going to kill them, he first mentioned what they did, and then he commanded to kill them. So he doesn't mention reading the parsha. Obviously he holds that you read the parsha, but he doesn't mention that that is the way we're makayim in the mitzvah. And then in his codification of it, hold on. He also says, Mitzvos Aseh okay, yeah. Zachor is asher, Mitzvos Aseh la'abid zecher amalek, shenemar timcha zecher amalek, u'mitzvos Aseh lizkor tamid ma'asav haraim va'arivaso. Tamid, again, right? Kedei la'or ha'ivaso, shenemar Zachor is asher asalacha amalek, mipiyash mu'lam to Zachor baped lo tishkach b'leiv, she'asor lishkoch evaso v'sinaso. So I believe this is machlokas rishonim, that the Rambam does not hold that we're makayim this mitzvah through Kriyas Torah, that's not the way, that's not like the Surah Mitzvah. It's really just remembering him all the time, verbally recalling him. And so anytime you do it, you'd be Makayim that. And similarly, like when you read Megillah Esther and you talk about Haman Ha'agagi, then you're also being Makayim that. When we're talking about him right now, we're being Makayim that. So different than like the popular mentality of remembering Amalek. I mean, plus just I guess according to the other Mefarshim, what was the Tzuras HaMitzvah? If you hold that it's Davka Kriyas Torah, so before, not that there's a lot of time here, but before Moshe, well, actually, no. Do anyone know who was Masakin to read those 4 readings? I have no idea, actually. Because I guess I'm wondering, Moshe Rabbeinu was Masakin Kriyas Torah on Mondays and Thursdays, and then you have the kind of Kriyas Torah on Shabbos. So when were the Daled Parshios instituted? And I guess my question then is, before the Daled Parshios were instituted, if you hold that you're Makayim this mitzvah through Kriyas HaTorah, so then why are you, how is that mitzvah fulfilled? Like,
well, I mean, if you read it on Monday and Thursday, then eventually you get to Parsha Zachor. Well,
no, but what I mean is Mida Oraisa. Right? Because reading the institution reading of doing Kriyas Torah is Midorabanan. So if you hold that Zechirus Amalek is Doraisa, then how was it fulfilled initially? It's not like a kushya, but it's just, it ends up being weird because I feel like the way we treat the mitzvah, at least experientially or socially, is like it's a very official kriya. Like we do it through Kriyas Torah. Like I don't know anyone who says, oh, if you miss it in shul, just open a Sefer Torah and read it. Like it seems like it has to be in the Torah of Kriyas Torah. And like even I know in yeshiva, what we do is we read it Ashkenazic and Sephardic, and then within the Ashkenazic we pronounce because it's a deraisa, we say zecher and zecher. Like we're makbid on it. So like it has all of these trappings of like we're being makayim the deraisa with this. But if it weren't for the institution of Kriyas Torah, how would we have done it? So that's my question. Okay.
I mean, right.
Yeah. Nothing. Okay. 190. Lasos b'milchamas harshus kamishpat hakasav b'Torah. So to do in an optional war what in accordance with the law written in the Torah. Shnemar kisikrav el ir, when you come to a city. So that's all of the stuff of have overtures for peace and like send out different warnings, etc., etc. The whole procedure. 191. Limshoch kohen lemilchama, to anoint a kohen for war. So this is the Meshuach Milchama Shnemar V'haya Kekaravtem El HaMilchama V'nigasha Kohen. It will be when you approach war, and the Kohen will go forward. Will approach. 192 Lahaskin Yad B'Machane. Lahaskin. Okay, I'm not familiar with that conjugation. So here it says to have a place outside the camp for sanitary purposes. See, I wasn't aware that this was a mitzvah d'oraisa.
I thought it was Yasid.
Yeah. So I guess Yeah, so let's see what he says. He should kishiyatu chayalosenu lemilchama lahachin lahem derech chutz mehamachanos lates bo ha'am v'lo yase ish tracha b'chol makom uvein ha'melonos kamo shiasu ha'umos. So when our soldiers go out to war, it's a mitzvah for them to prepare a path outside of the camps for the people to go to, and to not take care of your business in every place and between the melonos. I don't know where the melonos are. I guess the encampments maybe, like the nations do. Yeah, so I did not know that this was that the Mitzvos Aseh was to make a like a latrine area. All right, I guess that might be where we have to look for the bathroom thing if we're pursuing that. Oh, look, Isaac, then you got your old friend here.
Yeah.
Haskin Yasid. So, yes, you're right. This is a very loose translation. To keep that place sanitary, to prepare a peg, right? Is the literal translation. Let's read it in the Sefer Mitzvos. That you should have a digging vessel, a digging tool hanging with your weaponry. Im kol echad me'anshe hachaya lachbor bo b'makom yifne bo b'derech hi hamochanos l'zeh v'chasa hatzoa achar tzeso ach lo tira hatzoa al pnei haaretz klal b'machane hamilchama. Yeah, so that he should use it to dig a place to do his business in the area that is prepared for, and then to cover his tzoa after he leaves, so that the tzoa is not seen on the face of the entire earth, or in the face of the land at all in the machane. We're going to flag this one not for, I mean, we might do it in our Rambam ship, but we're flagging it so that we can cheat on our tefillah shir through Rambam and like learn the Tamei mitzvos for this year and like get insight into there. Yeah. Yeah, fine. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it is 2 mitzvos. Yeah, I had no idea about this. And now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if it would be accurate to say that this is the only mitzvah d'oraisa that directly pertains to going to the bathroom. Because you have Hilchos Kriya Shema and Hilchos Tefillah, of not saying Kriya Shema by Tzoah, but that's not a mitzvah. That's a halacha of another mitzvah. This is like a mitzvah about waste disposal, So I think my only encounter with, excrement topics is really in like Hilchos Kriya Shema and Tefillah, but I've never looked here in this d'oraisa thing. And I do think that when I went through Aruch Shulchan Yomi on that stuff, a lot of the halachos about bathroom stuff in Tefillah and Kriya Shema are learned out from this. So I just don't think of this as a d'oraisa address for excrement things. Okay. All right. I would have said a different word than things to make it funny, but it would have been inappropriate. Lahashiv es gazel, to return the stolen object. Shnemar v'heshiv es gazela asher gazal. He shall return the stolen thing that he's stolen. So this is an example. When we do, I do still want to go through the Mitzvos Aseh epilogue in Sefer Mitzvos, but the Rambam there talks about how there are certain mitzvos that are conditional. And I think this is one of the examples that he gives is like, no one should think that the mitzvos are like a checklist that you have to like do all of them, because that would mean that you have to go and steal from someone so that you could be Mekayim this mitzvah. It's no, if the condition devolves upon you, then you're obligated to do this. So don't get any ideas. That's a mitzvah.
Too late.
Yeah. Too late, yeah.
What is the?
You can ungag the person you kidnapped who's at. I guess that's not really that kind of gazela. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the new clean break, right?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Good point. Yes.
Unless it's casting aspersions on a thief.
Yes. Right. Yeah, I was actually going to leap to this and say, well, maybe it is talking about how they could take stuff when they're going to war, but I don't think that's gazela. I mean, that's just war.
Wait, so gazela is that talking about like you said before, like kidnapping, or was that a joke?
No, I was joking. That's I
This
think
is
this is
theft.
theft.
This is theft. It's not kidnapping.
Yeah, that's Lotignov. Yeah. Yeah, it's robbery. You know what? Now that when we first started off on this project, then I didn't have the highlight feature, but for what it's worth, I'm going to highlight whenever we find something that we think is a clean break, like a start of a new section. In my fantasy world, I'll say that I'll go back and do the other ones, but who knows? Okay. If the internet, I mean, this will be here, so maybe when I stumble upon it later. Okay, kuf tzadi hey litain tzedaka shnemar pazoch tiftach es yadacha. You shall surely open your hand. Yeah, so this also doesn't seem to be quite related, other than the loose association to money.
And some sort of justice.
Yeah, some sort of justice, right? Yeah. And given that, it's weird that this comes after the lahashi v'segazela. There's like a much more primary justice thing. Okay, 196. Laha'anik le'evet ivri. Does that mean to like sustain him? To bestow liberal gifts upon the Hebrew bondman. Shnemar ha'anik tanik lo. You shall surely bestow liberal gifts. V'chein la'ama ivriya. Same thing for the maidservant. This is when you free him, right? Let's see here.
I was reading the next mitzvah and I was like, that's a very loose translation.
Oh yeah. He should lahanik eved ivri kashiyat l'chov shiv lo yete b'yadayim rikanyo. So it's functionally it's expressed in a double way. Is that you have to like give him a lot of gifts and not let him leave empty-handed. Okay, then lalvos la'ani. Sorry, lahalvos la'ani, not to accompany the ani, to lend to the ani. Shnemar im kesef talveh es ami es ha'ani v'gomer. If you shall lend money to my people, to the ani. Im ze enu reshus ela mitzvah. Im, even though that would imply reshus, it is not a reshus, it's a mitzvah. Shnemar v'ha'avit ta'aviteno. I also cannot, I have a hard time translating that, avat. You shall surely lend him. I don't know what the nuance of that word is. Lahalvos lanachri berivis, to lend to the non-Jew with interest. Shnemar lanachri tashich, you shall charge the non-Jew interest. Mipiashmu lamdu shazo mitzvos aseh. Okay, yeah.
It's like this one also.
Yeah, I guess that's going to probably be related to the.
Yeah, it seems like those two are kind of linked. Like, I don't know, causing financial hardship to the non-Jew or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
where did the other one appear?
I think it was 152.
152.
I think.
Nope. What was it called?
42?
Lingos. Yeah, Lingos Lanachri. 142. Yeah. Yeah. What do you call it? Yeah. See, this is the thing. See, if we really wanted to be, what do you call it? If we really wanted to be thorough, this would have been a good opportunity. It would have slowed things down, though. This would have been a very good opportunity to make mnemonic devices for all of them. You know, to remember where they are. Like, again, I don't know what your methods are. I told you my method earlier of like making words that have to do with stuff, and the more psychological association it is, the better. So I think the way that I'm always going to remember this is Kufman Bays reminds me of kombucha. And so you picture going up to like your average like hipster non-Jew drinking kombucha and then pressuring him into like paying his debts. That's how I remember it. That's how I'm probably going to remember it. So we'll see if it lasts. Yeah. So I don't know why that's all the way up here.
Oh, because here this was debt. It's because it's the flip side.
Oh, it's the flip side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but it does have to do with
here. This is.
Go ahead.
That's debt insofar as it pertains to Shemitah.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that is for Nachri, you don't do that. But this is that you should is the lending in the first place, which is a monetary thing, has nothing to do with Shemitah.
Right. Although just to make sure we're clear, functionally though, this does apply to any debt, right? This is not just, even though the topic was brought in from Shemitah, didn't we establish that this is like any debt?
Yeah, same thing with same thing with the USA right before it.
Right. Yeah.
They're both
right. Although, but again, I think in the Mishneh Torah, didn't we see that this was the other one was in Malva and Velova also. So we see it can have two addresses. Okay, lahashiv hamashkon lebalav, to return. I never remember how to translate mashkon. Hold on, collateral. I know security. Okay, collateral. Yeah, they say pledge. To its owner, shnemar hashiv tashiv lo es ha'avot. Yeah, see, there's that word avot again. I think that's what messes me up about it, because here it means the pledge or the collateral. Here ha'avet ta'avitenu. I don't know what the word is, avat.
I can look it up in Jastro, although I don't know if that violates the Rambam's thing of not looking in any other book.
Jastro is, Jastro might have it, but Jastro is an Aramaic dictionary. I'm going to look at my Shirashim dictionary. I'll be right back. So here it says avat is indebted, borrow, lend. That's one meaning. Collateral is another meaning. Be rough, angry, or threaten is another meaning. Seize or levy is another one. Bent, crooked, deviant is another one. Hold back, dominate, transgress, and act immorally. So we got this is one of these like hard to see the unity in. Huh. Interesting. I also, when I was looking for this, then I flipped through the ayin bet taf, which is a chord or pleats or twists, and so Rav Hirsch there would say that the two are related because avat with a tet is crooked, and avat with like crooked in an unnatural way, and avat with a taf is like the crooked but in a beautifying way or like in a natural way. That that's my projection onto Rav Hirsch.
Why would he say that?
Oh, so Rav Hirsch's theory of grammar of Shirashim is that all of the ones that are you can take any three-letter Shoresh, and then if you substitute the similar letters, then those Shirashim are related. So, like, let's say, for example, Seichel with a sin means intelligence, but with a Samech, Sachal means foolishness. So clearly they are linguistically related, Or like my favorite one, I don't know if this is an example from him or just the first one I think of, is bolate, collate, and polate, okay, are all related. So bolate is to protrude, polate is to spit out, collate is to take in, So like they're all, locate, leket is to gather, So he holds that like there are these like Shirashim clusters. And sometimes when he explains it, like all the examples I gave, like I think it's reasonable to assume that there is a relationship between them, but some of them are a little bit of a stretch, So like that, he'll do that a lot. He has his own Shirashim book where he talks about this.
Yeah,
I just don't have a copy.
Yeah. I'm sorry to maybe make you look it up again, but what did it say that a vote or avate means?
With a tet is indebted, borrow, lend. That's one meaning. Collateral is another one. Be rough, angry, threaten is another one. Seize or levy is another one. Bent, crooked, or deviant is another one. Hold back, dominate, transgress, and act immorally is another one.
Yeah, I have no unity there is.
Yeah. I mean, there's the bent and the immoral ones seem to be related, but the collateral and collecting debt seems to be a different thing. Okay. Where are we now? We are at Lihios. Nope. Litain schar sachir bismano, to pay the hired day worker, day laborer, his wages on time. Shnemar biyoma titain lo scharo. On his day you shall give it to him. You should give him his payment. 201 lios hasachir ochel bisman schiruso, that the hired worker should eat at the time of his hired during when he's on the clock. Shnemar kisavo b'kerem re'echa kisavo b'kamas re'echa, right? Meaning that you have to like let him eat. You can't like deduct his pay if he's like eating on the job.
I think this is specifically eating from the produce.
From the produce, yeah, right.
Yeah,
not all activities. Yeah, let me see how he expands it here.
Yeah, it's not that you can't say like he can't take a lunch break.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that he has the right to eat from your property that he's working with?
Right. Yeah, you're right. I said that wrong. He should right, when it's a produce. And then he says, "V'hu amro yisala keep it savo b'kerem recha v'hi kisavo b'kamas recha." So kerem is vineyard, kamas is field. He's brought b'gemar metzia ki mishneh elo haksuvim lamanu she'adam ochel b'mechuber l'karka b'shas malacha v'shelo yaspik lanu hakasav ha'echa mibilti chavero imo. So you need both psukim k'moshe bi'arno b'mesh hakadam etzleinu b'amoreno ad shiomar u'shnei ksuvim. Okay, fine. This is a side point. Okay, 102. Lazov me'al chavera o me'al behemto. Shnemer azov tazov imo. So this is a weird usage of azav, right, is that you should, really means you should engage him to help him. Lazov me'al chaver. I'm just trying to think what the most literal way to interpret that would be. See how he says it here. Shetivan lahorid hamasa me'al habehema shenis yaga'a b'masa baderech. You should take down the burden from upon an animal that has become weary of its burden on the path. Who amri salat azov tazov imo. Lashon mechota azov tazov lashon prika. So that's what it is. It's unloading. You shall unload. You should surely unload. V'shnemar v'sham nemar v'chadalta me'azov lo azov tazov. Nimshinu lemedin shehu over al aseh velosa aseh shanachnu nitztavinu lifrok me'aleha masa who's harno gamke mehaniach osa. So it's using the same lashon for the lav and the aseh, even though they mean different things. V'chadalta me'azov, you shall refrain from abandoning him, and then azov tazov, you shall surely unload it. Yeah. Okay. 203 lahakim hamasa al habehema, to set up the load on the animal. I think that's to reload it, not to reload it, to load it when your neighbor needs help. Shnemar hakim takim imo, you shall load with him. 204 lahashiv ha'aveda, to return a lost object. Shnemar hashev teshivim la'achicha, should return them to your brother. 205 lahochiach hachote. Okay, so it might be that we have crossed into something here. I mean, it's interesting because we were dealing with somewhat monetary stuff up until here. But then this, I guess, is like going into certain bein adam lechavero things, right? It's funny, he doesn't start off with v'havta l'recha kamocha, but like helping, well, this is really helping the animal, right? But secondarily, it's helping your friend. And then, hold on. Got to do this right. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's I don't know how to define this category. I mean, it's bein adam lechavero, like with their stuff, and then it goes into other bein adam lechavero stuff. Lahochiach hachote, to rebuke the sinner. Shnemar hochiach tochiach asamisacha, you should surely rebuke a member of your people. Lehov kol adam mibnei bris, to love every person who is a member of the covenant. Interesting there that he defines re'acha. He's defining re'acha in here. It is interesting actually because member of the bris. I mean, that's an interesting thing, because I would think that means any Jew who is like halakhically Jewish, right? A ben bris.
Well, or someone who is not a kofar, maybe.
So that's how we paskin, right? But do we ever see that lashon used for like being a kofar? That they're not b'nei bris?
Well, maybe they're not b'nei bris because they don't do bris milah. Like, maybe that's how ben bris is being used.
Could be. I don't think
I'm just speculating.
Yeah, I mean, you're just saying it based on the word.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second here. I just want to see how he brings it down. He might not bring it down in Deos. Mitzvos a mitzvah al kol adam lehov es kol echad ve'echad miyisrael kagufo. Shnemar v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Lefikach tzarich sheyisaper b'shvacha v'lachos al mamono kamo shu chas al mamon atmo v'ro b'chvod atmo. Kaved b'cholon chavero in lo chelek l'olam haba. Yeah, so that he calls him Yisrael here. Okay. And then Avas Ager, that's included in the Reah. So I think actually the place where he talks about it, oddly enough, is, if I remember correctly, let's see if I'm imagining this, at the end of Kinyan in Mechira. I never look here. I'm not holding in Kinyan. Actually, I know where I can look it up, because I think he mentions it in the helping your enemy unload the burden thing. So let's look here. So Reish Beis. Oh, is it really in Roteach and Shmiras Nefesh? Okay, maybe I was way off. Hold on. No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. False alarm. Yeah, I thought I'm pretty sure Zev is correct in terms of the halakhic meaning that whenever it says re'acha, it means someone who's re'acha b'torah over mitzvos. So if they're like a kofir, then they're excluded. I'm just not used to seeing b'nei bris in that with that meaning. Reish zayin lehov es hager, shnemar v'ahavtem es hager. So this is yeah.
Yeah. What is like the definition of ger in this context?
That's what I was gonna say. Is I'm pretty sure the Rambam. I don't know for sure actually, but I'm pretty sure the Rambam in that halacha that we just saw says it's a ger tzedek, but I know the Ralbag holds it's a ger toshav also.
Ger tzedek is ger sheniskayer, and ger toshav is a non-Jew who lives in Eretz Yisrael
and accepts the Shem Mitzvos Bnei Noach. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he says Avas Agir Shabal v'nichnas tachas kanfei hashchina. So I think that I know he doesn't say it exactly here, but I think that is code word for like converting into Judaism. I don't know for sure, but I believe that that's the case.
Oh yeah, I mean, right after that he says Achas Mibnei Shu. What is it? Shu Bechal Re'im. That he's included in friends.
Right, that's true also. Right, which implies that he's part of the nation. Yeah. Does he say in the Sefer Mitzvos? We skipped back a little bit. Wait, back. Right. So it would be included. Yeah. Hosif hakel ahava al ahavasov yichlo mitzvah nosefes kmosh asab azharas losonu v'amar losonu ger losoneh. These rami lashon Gemara shechiyavin al onasa ger. Yeah. So it seems like he holds it is davka. What do you call it? A ger tzedek, not a ger toshav. Yeah. Okay. Litzadik moznaim moznaim mishkalos, to calibrate the scales and the weights with the weights. Shnemar moznei tzedek avnei tzedek. So that's also technically being out on the chavurah, but it's also in Geneva, right? It's also like it falls under Hilchos Geneva in a way. L'chabid hachachamim. Shnemar mipnei seva takum. So this is another interesting placement here, because in Talmud Torah he has lilmud ulamed chachmas Torah, and then l'chabid hachachamim is also in Hilchos Talmud Torah. But here this is way after Talmud Torah, which was in the first 19. Shnemar mipnei seva takum. You should rise because of old age, the hoary head. 210 l'chabid av aim, to honor father and mother. Shnemar kabid es avicha v'asimecha, you should honor your father and your mother. 211 liyira me'av aim, to revere your mother and father. Shnemar ish imo v'aviv tirao. And I like using the word revere instead of fear in this context, because the mitzvah is to do an action. So reverence, I think, is lends itself to both an internal experience and behavior, whereas fear kind of implies like that the mitzvah is to have a fear. Reish yud beis lifros v'lirbos, shnemar pru uravu. So this one I feel like this is definitely a bridge, right? Because you got ava aim here, pru uravu, which is not necessarily in Bein Adam Chavero, except in the sense that it produces more Bein Adam Chaveros, or more Adams, and then he goes into marriage stuff.
No, but it could be related to Alpha Aim, like it's the flip side. Like, yeah,
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it relates to the previous one and it relates to the bottom, to the next one. It's they're the ones who pru revued you into existence, and then pru revu is also the basis of the marriage institution, which is kedushin. Yeah. Reish yud gimel livol b'kedushin shnemar ki kach ish isha uva eleha. So this is a mitzvah to only have, I mean, I think the mashmaos is that your bia should only be with kedushin. I just want to see how he formulates it in the Sefer HaMitzvos. He should have livo b'kedushin v'laseis davar biyad ha'isha o b'shtar o b'bia v'zohi mitzvos kedushin v'haremez alav ki yikach ish isha o bala v'horesh hu yikne b'bia Amru v'yatza v'haisa kamo shaisa ha'shotza b'shtar af ha'havai b'shtar kamo kain lamanu shehi niknes b'kesef ma'amaram b'ama ha'ivriya in kesef la'adon ze aval yesh kesef la'adon acher umanu av aval kedushin de'oraisa amnam him bevorim she'em b'bia. Okay, fine, right. So those details. Yeah. Okay. 2:14. L'sameach chasan es hakalashana. To the chasan should rejoice with his wife, or make his wife rejoice, facilitate the joy of his wife for a year. Shnamar naki hi eleveso shana achas. So this is expressed in the war thing, right, in the Torah. He should he's yachid chasan im. Oh, never mind. Well, he's yachid chasan im ishto shan tmila. He should spend a year secluded with her. That does not mean be in yichud for a whole year. Shelo yatza chutz le'ir. He shouldn't leave the city. V'lo yatza letzava, and shouldn't go to the army. V'lo yavor alav davar mehadvarim hadomim le'elu. And there shouldn't be things that he does that are like these. V'yisameach ima ad melos lo shana tmima. Should make her happy for a full year. Reish tesvav lamulas habein. Shnemar vayom hashmiya yimol basar. So here we have another classification that's different from the chalukas asparim, because in the Sefer Ava he includes it in there because it's a reminder. Here he's including it because it has to do with like childbearing and family, or offspring. What's the word I'm looking for? Perpetuating offspring. I don't know, there's a better word than that. Reish Yud Vav. Oh, by the way, I meant to call your attention to this when we did Mitzvah 16, but I saw in the footnote in the Rambam that he says that in the Rambam's day, you would say 16 as Yud Vav. None of this Tes Zion shenanigans. So you go Reish Tes Vav and then Yud Vav, because I guess people weren't as squeamish about using the letters from the Shemos Hashem.
Wait, what? Why is it Tes Vav and then Yud Vav? Shouldn't it be? If they
No,
should
right?
be Yud Hey, if they weren't squeamish at all, it should be Reish Yud Hey, then Reish Yud Vav.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess they're half squeamish. I don't know. Yeah, it is odd.
Well, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Yud Hey is like,
that's actually a Shem Hashem.
Shem Hashem.
Right?
Yeah. Yud Vav, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so semi-squeamish. Yeah. Okay. I definitely guess that when we get to Losa say Reish Ayin Hey, the Rambam's not gonna like switch it around like some of them do. I don't think he's afraid of that. Or Reish Ayin, I guess. Okay. Liyabim Ashes to there's no good English word for this. Is it to engage in levirate marriage? Right. I don't know if there's one word for that, with the brother of the wife. The wife of the brother, right? The widow of the brother. Shnemar Yavama Yavo Aleha. His Yavama should go on to her. Lachlo to the liyavam, to do chalitza for the yavam. Shnemar v'chalta na'alo mi'al raglo. You shall de-shoe him from his foot. How do they say it here? Formally released. All right. Lisa ones as anusaso, that the rapist should marry his rape victim. Shnamar velosi hi isha. She should be for him as a wife. Ratio test. Leshev motzi shemra im ishto kol yamav. That the one who slandered his wife should remain with him for all days. Shnamar velosi hi isha. I also don't know the halachas of this one.
So what the case of Motzi Shemra is, or what?
Yeah,
or
what this ramification is? Yeah, I mean maybe yeah. So,
yeah. So it's a case where a person gets married and then claims that she wasn't a basula,
right?
And that
and then they check.
Yeah, and then they check, and then they find out that she was.
Right. So then
I think he maybe yeah. Well, yeah, he can't divorce her. He has to pay her 100 shekels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe the cases where he says that she had be in between Arison and Isuin.
All right.
Like specifically that claim, like he's making
right.
that claim.
Okay. Ladun bimifate b'chamishim shekel im shara dinav. So to apply the law of the 50 shekel payment to the seducer with his other laws. Shnemar v'chi yifate ish, as it says when a man seduces a woman, right? Lasos lifas Torah. That's the there are a bunch of laws that apply to the case of mafate. And I never quite remember the difference between mafate and ones.
Is it like seducing?
Yeah, seducing. It's like there's like a willingness there, but I don't remember how that's defined halakhically. Okay, then 221 lasos lifas Torah kakasuv, to do to the ifas Torah what is written in the Torah. Shnemar v'isa bashivya ishes ifas Torah. You shall, when you see in the captivity a woman of beautiful form. Lagarish bishtar, to divorce using a document. Shnemar v'chasav la sefer krisus nasam biyada. You should write for a book of cutting off and give it into her hand. 223 lasos lasota katorah sa, to do to the sota according to her procedure. Shnemar v'asala hakohen eis kol hatorah hazos. You should do, the kohen should do to her this entire system procedure. Lahalkos harashaim, to whip rashaim. Oh, so now that looks like it's a new category. Looks like this is going to be punishments now, which you could say that the sota is related, but I don't really think that's viewed as a punishment in the Torah. Lahalkos harashaim, to whip rashaim. Shnemar v'hipilo hashovet v'hikahu. You shall cause him to fall, and the shovet shall hit him. Lahaglos rotzeach bishkaga, to exile someone who murders unintentionally. Shnemar v'yashav ba'ad mos hakohen. You shall dwell there.
It's interesting. This is not with the not with your miklat.
Not with your miklat. Oh yes, yeah. This is not with your miklat.
I mean, here
right.
this is it's the punishment, so it makes sense. But
yeah, right. That's true. Yeah, conceivably you could have grouped them. Yeah, because that's where he is dwelling. Most of the kohen gadol until the kohen gadol dies. Reish Chavav Lios Beistin Horogin Basayif. The Beistin should kill with a sword. Interesting the order. I guess because he's connected. This is not in order of severity going up or going down, right? Because then he goes Shnemar Nakom Nakim Lios Beistin Horogin Bechenek Shnemar Mos Yumas Hanoi Hanu Office Lios Beistin Sorfin Baesh Shnemar Baesh Yisrafu Osov Eshen and Lios Beistin Sorfin.
Isn't this going up in severity?
What was that?
Isn't this going up in severity?
No, right? Isn't chenek the lowest severity?
I thought Saif is.
Skilas, Refa, Hereg, and chenek.
Is that in severity order then?
That's in severity order, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming he does saif because the only thing that you're chayav a saif for, or the primary thing you're going to be chayav saif for is murder. So that's the connection here. But it is interesting that he so it's associative. Then we got lislos mishin is chayav tchliya, to hang someone who is chayav in hanging. Shnemar v'salis also all eights, you shall hang him on the tree. And remember, this is not hanging to kill; this is hanging of the dead body. 231 likbor hanerag biyomo, to bury the executed on his day, meaning on the day of his execution. Nemar ki kavortik bren yom hahu, you shall bury him on that day. 232 ladun be'evet ivri kilchosav, to apply the din of evet ivri in accordance with his halachos. Shnemar ki sikna evet ivri.
This is a translation, right?
What was that?
This is a new topic, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, and it's also in a new sefer, right? This is in this would be in Kinyan and in Avadim instead of Shoftim and Sanhedrin. Why? Okay. There we go. All right. Liya'ed ama ivriya, to I mean, literally to promise an ama ivriya, but this means this is like the Kiddushin equivalent for an ama ivriya. I don't know what you call it. He says to espouse. Never seen the word espouse used that way. A Hebrew maidservant. Shnever asher lo ye'ada v'im livno ye'adana. If you will espouse her to your son. Okay. 234. Liftos ama ivriya, to redeem her. Shnemar v'hevda. Yeah. What you know what that means? Is that like
maybe to free her when she gets married to the guy? Yeah,
I think so, right? Yeah. I think that's Pedia zo yesh lo diktuk t'naim ba mishpatim rami mekvar nisbar b'meseches kiddushin. Yeah, I think that's what it is. 235 lavod be'evet kanani la'olam, so to keep him as a slave forever. The evet kanani shnemar la'olam b'hem ta'avodi, you should enslave him forever. Meaning as opposed to freeing him after 7 years. Lihios hachovel mishalim mamon, that the wounder should pay money. Shnemar v'chi yirivun anashim v'hi ka, when men fight and they wound. So this is going back to damages. I mean, when I say going back to, I mean, we've had other damage ones earlier, but I guess this is now the category proper, because now it says ladun b'nizkei behema, to apply the laws of animals damages. Shnemar v'chi yigov shor ish es shor re'ehu, when a shore gores when a shore of a person gores the shore of his fellow. Ladun b'nizkei habor, to apply the laws of the bore damages. Shnemar v'chi yiftach ish bor, when a man opens a pit. Ladun ganav b'tashlumin o b'misa. Interesting, he puts ganav in here, right? In sandwiches in between, to apply to the ganav the din of tashlumin or misa. When's there misa? Oh, I guess for kidnapping. Weird that that's one mitzvah, right? Gonev nefesh I think of as a different thing than gonev mamon. Shnemar ki yignov, and then im b'machteres, and then gonev ishu mecharo. Okay, 240, ladun b'nizkei hever, shnemar ki yaver ish sadeh ocherem. So to apply the judgments of the damages of fire, or however you say hever, actually, sorry. Aish is the next one. Ladun b'nizkei ha'esh, shnemar ki seitze eish umat akotim, when the fire goes out and finds thorns. Ladun b'din shomer chinam, to apply the law of the one who guards for free. Shnemar ki yitain ish el re'ehu kesef o chelim, when a person gives to his fellow silver, money or kelim. Ladun b'din nose sachar v'socher, to apply the law of someone who is a paid or hired guard. Shnemar ki yitain ish el re'ehu chamor o shor. 244, ladun b'din shoel, to apply the din of the borrower. Shnemar v'chi yishal ish me'im re'ehu, when a person borrows from his friend. 245, ladun b'din mekach memkar, to apply the laws of buying and selling. Shnemar v'chi simkru mimkar lamisecha, when you will sell something to your friend. 246, ladun b'din toin v'kofir, to apply the laws of someone who makes a claim and someone who denies a claim. Shnemar al kol devar pesha, on every matter of I don't know if it's negligence or I don't know if it's rebellion. They say trespass here. I don't know. 247, lahatil hanirdaf afilu b'nefesh harodef. So this is interesting that he puts it here, not with the murder stuff, but to save the pursued, even if it at the cost of the life of the pursuer. Shnemar the katos as kapa, you shall cut off her hand. I didn't know that was associated with that, by the way. Reish mem ches ladun b'dinei nachalos, to apply the laws of inheritances. Shnemar ish ki yamus uvein ein lo v'haisa l'bnei Israel, when a man dies and he has no son, and it shall be for the children of Israel. Yay! Finish the Mitzvos Aseh. So the plan for tomorrow, I think, is let's do that thing I said at the end of the Sefer Mitzvos for the essays, and then whatever time we're remaining, we'll look back at the flagged ones. Yay! Feels good, man.
We did it.
Los Asehs is going to be Los Asehs are going to be a doozy. Although I guess technically we might get through faster because a lot of the Los Asehs are built on the same cases or are just the flip side of the essays. So we won't have to do as much research. But yeah, okay. See you guys later.